As if I would want any of your allegedly problematic panties. Hmm. Welcome back to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, your favorite recovering lawyer, and today we're going to discuss the Thinx class action lawsuit. And more importantly, should you take the class action pennies? And really and truly, I do mean pennies. So this case, we're going to do a little bit backwards. Instead of going through the history of the lawsuit, the company, what exactly is going on, we are going to start with the end result, which is a class action was filed nearly 2 years ago against Thinx, the originator, the innovator of the period panty industry. And that class action lawsuit has come very close to its conclusion. We are now receiving preliminary introductions. There has been a preliminary filing stating that members of the class action can be paid out. Paid out for what exactly? And because I haven't said it verbally in a while, and instead it's been in the description box in case you forgot, while yes, I am a barred attorney and recovering lawyer these days, I'm not your lawyer. So if you are involved in this case, I highly recommend you seek legal counsel. So our agenda is going to be what exactly Thinx is offering in their class action payout. And then we're going to go into a little background, a little history into Thinx, the company. How exactly did they get here? Then we'll get into the class action itself. And we'll end on why, for some odd reason, women's products seem to be highly unregulated these days. So, if you're not familiar with Thinx, here is one of their award-winning ads as displayed in Grand Central. I remember this ad. It is a great use of a plump grapefruit. Now, if you're not familiar with Thinx, Thinx created and was the innovator in the period panty space. Thinx created period panties, which allowed people to go to sleep at first without even thinking about whether or not there would be leakage on their sheets. Very useful. And has since branched out into thongs, hipsters, hip huggers, panties, etc. that you can wear throughout the day. Now, obviously, if we're talking about a class action settlement, it went wrong somewhere along the way. So let's first get into the class action coins. According to classaction.org, Thinx has settled its Forever Chemicals class action lawsuit. Yes, Forever Chemicals, while maybe good for some things, is not good in something that you're putting on your literal vajay. Now, consumers who are covered by the deal and submit valid claims can opt to receive cash reimbursement for past purchases of Thinx underwear. Before we get into what exactly are their claims, I think it should be really noted how much money this class action is paying out. Those with proof can receive $7 per purchase for a maximum of 3 purchases. That's $21 maximum that you are allowed to receive under this class action lawsuit. $21 for pairs of panties that cost upwards of $30 each, while you simultaneously waive the majority, if not all, of your rights. So you can see where my analysis is going here. I personally have never used Thinx underwear. If I were to have, I would not take this deal. If you don't have your receipt and for some reason Thinx does not have you in their online purchase registry, you can receive a refund of up to $3.50 per purchase for up to 3 purchases, for a total of $10.50. Again, for underwear that costs upwards of $30. And in the alternative, in case you don't want the literal pennies, Thinx is giving out a single-use voucher for a discount of up to 35% off the total purchase of certain products in a single transaction of up to $150 for panties that they are essentially kind of skirting around the fact may have chemicals in them that may cause you harm. Yeah, it doesn't particularly seem fair when you lay it out that way. Now, the preliminary approval order was entered into earlier this year, and that preliminary approval order is supposed to officially be finalized in April. If you are interested in receiving that $21 or the $10.50, if you don't have a receipt, you have to opt in at the class website, the class action website. Now, if the way class action works, if you realize, you know what, this is highly a problem, these Forever Chemicals, I don't want $21 for something I paid $30 plus for, you have to overtly opt out, which you can do that at thinxunderwearsettlement.com. Now, the settlement website gives a great, concise summary of legal rights and options for the settlement. So the first is to submit the claim form. You have to submit the claim form by April 12th, 2023. This is the only way you can get the $21 and the $10.50. If you believe that you have been harmed past the $10.50 or the $21, you can exclude yourself. And by excluding yourself, you retain any right you currently have to sue Thinx about the issues covered by the settlement. You can object in court before April 12th regarding the settlement. If you object, you are allowed to attend the final approval hearing. The way class actions are set up, anybody who purchased in the specific set of time, those specific 2 years that are covered in the court case, are automatically included in the class action. So if you do nothing, which sometimes many people do, you essentially waive your rights to object after the class action. Screwed up. Yes, I know. That's our legal system, which is why they allow for the time period of the 4 months to allow people. So if you have purchased Thinx and you are not sure, put a calendar reminder in your calendar to just check to make sure that you've purchased specifically from these period panties, and to check after you have decided whether or not you would like the $21 or the $10 to either object or take the money. Now again, personally, I would not take $21. We are going to get into exactly why, which is what potentially these forever chemicals can do to people. The research on that is still out, and what's $21 to me if I'm going to get a larger medical issue in a place that has no universal health care and will likely cost me way more than $21? To be excluded, all you have to do, again, is go to thinxunderwearsettlement.com, and there's a form that you can fill out. It's all easy peasy. Now, I think this comment under the founder and former CEO of Thinx Instagram is a brief summary into what potentially may happen to women that have used Thinx's period panties, mainly infertility rights. You know what one of the worst things about this discovery is? That women who are already suffering from infertility, PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, and recurrent pregnancy loss have worn your underwear for years, capital letters, like myself, as a way to better manage their symptoms or ongoing fertility treatments. Fertility treatments including random spotting and awful V suppositories that need to be used daily for up to several months. People with endometriosis whose periods are so heavy that they've used Thinx as a backup for tampons or menstrual cup. People who, in capital letters, already have suffered enough. And now we learn that the period underwear that we've trusted for so long could potentially make our problems worse. I own 15 pairs of your underwear and I can only get refunded a measly $3. Well, the math is not mathing, but you see what she's saying. Your underwear is very expensive, and now we may have lifelong struggles or existing illnesses we could have made worse. And that is largely the issue. Why would anybody waive their rights to sue for, again, a measly $21 total or $10.50 maximum? It's not the best idea. Not the best idea, in my opinion. And important to note from NPR, the lawsuit doesn't accuse the products of causing harm. Rubin stresses that the case is about the way Thinx marketed its products, not the potential health effects of it. The plaintiffs in this case brought their claims because the presence of PFAS or other chemicals, PFAS, which we're going to get into, is what is referred to as forever chemicals, in the underwear would influence their purchasing decision, she said. The case is centered on marketing concerns and did not allege any claims related to personal injury resulting from the product. Essentially, there have not been enough tests to see if Thinx does cause things like cancer, things like UTIs, BV, worsened periods, etc., 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 all these things that PFAS, forever chemicals, are known to cause. It will take time for those studies to be conducted. And in the meantime, again, if that's going to take time, why would you waive your right for a future problem for $21? I think it's a little incredulous of Thinx to continue to offer people coupon codes under the guise of, okay, we will submit to more testing for a problem that we may not know about for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And to keep into context how this occurs in women's products generally, last month, we discuss lawsuits against hair relaxer companies, specifically L'Oreal, in that nearly 20 years later, after the first use of hair relaxer, the plaintiff is claiming that hair relaxers cause cancer because now, after 50 years, recent iterations of hair relaxers being in mainstream America, now they are finally doing studies realizing, yeah, there are some links between these relaxers and uterine cancers. Without the study, it's almost impossible to sue. And Thinks has already admitted, oh, we didn't do all those studies on that yet, but we promise that we're going to do it later. Interesting. So, in talking about Thinks, I think it's important to start at the beginning, which is the founder, who is problematic in her own right and caused the first initial scandal with Thinks way back when, and that is Mickey Agrawal. This is from her website, currently on her website. Mickey, the co founder and former CEO of Thinks, the period proof underwear company that's disrupting the $15 billion feminine hygiene market. Under Mickey's leadership, Thinks was named Fast Company's most innovative companies, one of Time Magazine's 25 best new inventions. And that was all well and true until it blew up because of claims that Mickey herself had allegedly sexually harassed a few of her employees. The allegations included her requesting to see the breasts of her employees, her parading around the office naked, her accepting Zoom calls naked, and her inquiring into the sexual life of her employees. After that, whole scandal blew up, she took no responsibility but was ousted from the company. To which, because she seems really great at timing, last week she posted, "It wasn't a waste of time if you learned something," to which she received a lot of angry comments from former and current Thinks customers. Because why would you post this right now? Even if it is in regards to other things. And yes, while she is no longer at the company, she still has in her bio co-founder and inventor of at Thinks. It is definitely something she wants to be remembered for, regardless of all the problems that have occurred with it. So, into the lawsuit. This class action lawsuit was filed in the state of New York a few years ago. It has been going on almost 2 years. So, specifically, consumers, including plaintiff, willingly paid a premium, upwards of $30, for this personal hygiene product compared to cheaper disposable alternatives such as tampons. This is because consumers, including plaintiff, would like an easier, safer, and more sustainable approach to feminine hygiene care as compared to traditional single use feminine hygiene products. When Thinx launched, a large part of their launch was the subway campaign, which was displayed across New York. I saw a bunch of them, as well as Chicago. I do believe they may have some in LA. Anywhere there is actual public transportation in the US, Thinx launched the campaign, and a large part of their marketing was them claiming this is safe. This is better for the environment. You can wash it. It's not single use plastic. And this is better for you. Yeah, it didn't age well. So Thinx essentially works through moisture wicking top layer, which draws away wetness and dries fast, features odor control technology to neutralize odors, ultra absorbent core layer absorbs up to 5 regular tampons worth, leak resistance layer keeps clothes, sheets, and everything else stain free. And it was also washable. So it seemed like a win 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 for consumers. Also, I just want to note it was Thinx trying to give me free panties as I was doing my research, as if I would want any of your allegedly problematic panties. Now, despite the claims by Thinx, plaintiffs' independent testing has confirmed the existence of harmful chemicals. Specifically, the chemicals are known as PFAS, polyfluoral alkaline substances, and silver nanoparticles, which are a safety hazard to the female body and the environment. The presence of these chemicals contradicts all of Thinx's unvarying representation that the product is non toxic, harmless, sustainable, organic, environmentally friendly, and otherwise safe for women and the environment. She knew something wasn't right, so she got her own testing. A smart woman. This is from Thinx's website. Intentional about our fiber choices. Our product's range is made up of a number of fibers such as cotton, modal, polyester, and nylon. Nowhere on Thinx products will you see that there's actually silver in the product. On defendant's website, in a section titled FAQ, the following representations appear. Are Thinx free of harmful chemicals? Absolutely. Clearly, nobody from legal reviewed this. I would never allow a past client, even though I did hate corporate so, to say absolutely no about anything. Nothing exists in the absolute. We take customer health and safety serious, which is why all Thinx Inc. products are rigorously tested for harmful chemicals and independently certified through Standard 100 by OCA Tex, which includes REACH requirements. We are proud to say that third-party testing has never revealed any harmful chemical levels in Thinx Inc. products. They then went on to state that Thinx products do not contain toxic metals, which is interesting. No Thinx Inc. products do not contain toxic metals or engineered nanoparticles. The anti-odor layer in our products is treated with Agion, an EU-regulated treatment that uses safe, non-migratory silver zeolite and silver copper zeolite. These compounds stay on the surface of the underwear and don't travel into your body. These are very affirmative statements that honestly, even if they were within a reasonable amount, you still shouldn't say them, because saying things in the absolute is an invitation for you to get sued and for someone to rightfully be like, are you sure? Now, what are the harmful forever chemicals that are in the Thinx products? Well, I'll leave this to the former host of The Daily Show, Trevor Noah.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is targeting PFAS chemicals in its new proposal for a national drinking water standard.
PFAS are toxic chemicals linked to serious diseases like, cancer, liver damage, and thyroid disease. And guess what? They never, ever, ever degrade. In fact, they're known as forever chemicals.
They're so prevalent, CDC scientists believe PFAS chemicals are in the bloodstreams of nearly all Americans.
What makes PFAS so useful in manufacturing is how the chemicals fit together. The fluorine atoms just so happen to fit perfectly around the carbon atoms to create a bond that resists things like heat, oil, and water.
It's in most products that are water, heat, and grease resistant.
They're used to repel water, grease, and oil in all sorts of things, from carpets to clothing to nonstick cookware.
That's right. Forever chemicals are used to keep things like food, oil, and moisture from sticking to surfaces.
So Isle, who is another period panty option for people that are looking for period panties, no, I have not used any period panties, so I can't vouch for them, made these statements on their Instagram. Worried about PFAS in your underwear? We've been closely following the conversation and lawsuits about PFAS in period underwear. So here's our response and our track record. What does PFAS-free underwear really mean? Scientists have told us that it's technically impossible and misleading to say that period underwear, or anything for that matter, is 100% PFAS-free. This is because thousands of types of PFAS and fluorines exist at infinitesimally microscopic levels in the environment. Studies show there is no way of avoiding trace level of PFAS in household items due to their forever quality. Ally products are regularly tested to check for PFAS in our pads and underwears. All tests confirm no PFAS was found to a detectable limit of 1 part per million. It was alleged in the lawsuit that the amount of PFAS was above the traceable amount, thus making it harmful. However, the lawsuit did not contend with what type of harm would be caused by PFAS, which is why, again, if it was me who ever used those period panties, I would wait until the lawsuit that is most likely going to come around that states, hey, did you know PFAS in period panties causes XYZ? And yes, I have been harmed in ABC manner. It should be noted that PFAS are regularly or were regularly used in athleisure, in particular athletic outerwear. As a result of emerging health and environmental concerns regarding short-chain PFAS, many apparel companies, including North Face and Patagonia, have committed to phasing them out of their products completely. So it has been, in certain industries, very much dealt away with, and in certain industries are moving to remove it, whereas it seems in the instance of Thinx has not made, as of the time of this recording, any affirmative statements saying it is completely phasing out PFAS from its period panties. It simply stated that they would continue with ongoing research and ongoing testing, and in doing so, they would try for better ways. The class action then went on to contend, do Thinx products contain non-toxic metals or non-particles? The way the sentence was stated, that the non-particles were not engineered. aka the way that Thinx positioned it, it seemed as if the particles were organic. However, according to the complaint, the mere fact that nanoparticles is naturally occurring does not automatically render it safer than an engineered nanoparticle. Thus, Thinx representation that it does not include engineered nanoparticles is misleading to a reasonable consumer. Furthermore, Thinx fails to disclose on the underwear's packaging and or label that the underwear contains silver nanoparticles. As you can see here on the label, it just states there is no mention of silver whatsoever. Thinx underwear, according to this, is primarily made up of cotton. And it should be noted that consumers shouldn't have to have a biochemical. Is that a one? I don't know. Science is not my thing. Shouldn't have to have a chemical engineering degree in order to understand what the hell is in their panties. One of the interesting things was Thinx claimed on their website that the silver contained in there, the nano silver, was non-migratory. However, that's highly unlikely. Silver nanoparticles present a particular risk to the female body, especially when they are present in period products. One study found that vaginal administration of silver nanoparticles cause ultrastructural changes to the vaginal mucosa, urethra, and rectum, in addition to leading to a migration of silver into the bloodstream. It should be noted that apparently there are no studies that have been conducted that have shown that silver does not migrate to anything. All of the studies have shown if you put silver in any type of clothing material, it will migrate. It will wash off in your laundry. It will migrate through your sweat. It will migrate, sadly and unfortunately, through your period. So while this case is ending, this conversation about whether or not period panties are safe is just beginning. Sadly, it seems that there have been less and less testing done on products that are more so geared towards women. Similarly, with the hair relaxer products that we covered, in which decades, generations of Black women have been affected by hair relaxers, it is only recently that scientists have decided to do studies on, well, since y'all have been complaining that these relaxers have been burning your scalp, insert my scar. Okay, come on, makeup. It's done very well. You can't see it. I suppose we should see what else are these hair relaxers doing. And the answer is scientifically, unequivocally, lately, through some studies, cause uterine cancer, most likely linked to fibroids. The studies about fibroids have not come out yet. And similarly, with the period panties, over the next 5-10 years, we are going to see similar studies done. Okay, we've assessed that maybe there are PFAs in these products. What does that cause when you put PFAs on a very vulnerable spot on women's bodies? Stress. So on that note, if you take anything from this video, it is that I, Stephanie, would not sign up to receive $21 because $21, unfortunately, is not even going to cover your copay. All right, I'll catch you on the next video.